Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Wealthy Brain. Today we're going to be talking about Kevin O'Leary and his views on building wealth. Stay with us until the last one. You're going to be shocked. Who is Kevin O'Leary? Kevin O'Leary, in full Terence Thomas Kevin O'Leary, Canadian entrepreneur, financier, and television personality who was perhaps best known as a panelist on the reality series Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. O'Leary was the son of salesman and a clothing manufacturer. After the death of his father, he spent time in the United States and Cambodia, where his stepfather was a student and a United Nations worker, respectively. In 1983, in Toronto, O'Leary co-founded a company called SoftKey Software Products, Inc. SoftKey acquired many producers of educational software, and during the early 1990s, it was reputed to be one of Canada's fastest-growing companies. The learning company was sold to the American toy maker Mattel in 1999 for more than $3 billion. In 2008, he set up a mutual fund called O'Leary Funds, which he sold in 2016. In January of 2017, O'Leary announced his candidacy for leadership of Canada's Conservative Party. As a prospective politician with a background in business and television, but not government, he reminded some observers of U.S. President Donald Trump. Although he quickly became a frontrunner, O'Leary dropped out of the race in April, claiming that he would be unable to win in the 2019 general election. His net worth? As of 2021, Kevin O'Leary's net worth is estimated to be $400 million. His views on building wealth. Here are some of the daily habits, productivity tricks, and mindset hacks used by O'Leary that helped him build his fortune. Number 1. The entrepreneurial journey has nothing to do with money. Money cannot be the only goal. This line of thinking inevitably leads to disappointment and regret. While it may look appealing, it is like seeing a mirage in the desert. You never actually get there, and you realize it was an illusion. The first thing I learned from O'Leary is that life and entrepreneurial journey has nothing to do with money. In fact, according to O'Leary, people don't just create $1 billion worth of wealth in just a matter of a few months. That is not really what happens, he told me. An entrepreneur is a long haul of commitment and sacrifice. Works sometimes as long as 10 to 15 years before one day you wake up and say, "Oh my goodness, I'm very wealthy. How did that happen?" Number 2. Family is extremely important, but not without sacrifices. I have noticed that work-life balance is all about sacrifice. You have to pick where to spend your time, and the decision is not always easy, but you have to be okay with your decisions. O'Leary told me that the idea of a perfectly balanced life is bullshit, and I tend to agree. You can only focus on many things at once, and if you try to focus on everything, you will probably face failure. Missing family events is the name of the game, and if you have children, you're gonna miss crucial years even though you think you won't. In a successful growing business, it eats your time alive, he said. Then later in life, you can provide for your family things that many others can't have. But because you sacrifice, you're then given the reward of freedom. Number 3. You have to tune into your surroundings. I have noticed that most of my personal success has come from always being prepared mentally and physically. I have to be ready to jump when opportunity presents itself. O'Leary is like a hawk watching from above. Every morning, he told me, he gets up around 5:30 a.m. and reads a series of research reports that come from Europe and several dailies. He educates himself and gets ready to pounce on any opportunity. He also usually spends some time on a bike each morning trying to burn 350 to 500 calories. I watch television at the same time, generally business channels, he said. If you look at the cycle of business, it starts in Europe when the markets are open there, and you get a pretty good tonality of what's going to happen in the bond and equity markets. Number 4. Focus on important tasks before you add more to your to-do list. My personal to-do list has sometimes turned into a never-ending list of tasks that I can't seem to complete. It can be a struggle at times to manage tasks and prioritize. O'Leary has a great way to get his important tasks done first. For something that seems so obvious, I wonder why so many of us are not doing this. I have been testing his method for a few days now, and it works like a charm. His discipline involves picking 3 tasks that he wants to get done before reading any emails, taking any phone calls, doing social media, or anything else. Even on the weekends, those 3 things I'm going to do before I let anything distract me, he said to me. I learned this years ago, and it really works. At the end of the day, one of the things that struck me most about O'Leary is that he practices the inevitability of success mindset. I asked him point blank which one of his companies he was most excited about with a great conviction. He said, I'm excited about all the investments I have. Number 5. Stop buying crap. First, you need money to invest. If you think you don't have any, think again, says O'Leary. The truth is, there's a lot of crap you don't need. That's what he told CNBC Make It. So evaluate your spending, and if you're wasting money on extraneous purchases, save it instead. And what has really helped me in maintaining growth in my own personal investing is anytime I pick up something I'm going to buy, I say to myself, do I really need this? He explains. Because if I don't buy it, the money is going to be invested and make money every year for me while I'm sleeping. For example, O'Leary brews coffee at home instead of buying it at a coffee shop. Do I pay $2.50 for a coffee? Never do I do that, he says. That is such a waste of money for something that costs 20 cents. I never buy a frappa, latte, blah blah, woof woof woof, cappuccino, americano, $2.50. It's a waste of money. He also says he has pared down his wardrobe to spend less money. I looked at my closet one day full of crap I don't wear, and he says, piles of clothes and suits and sweaters of shirts. So instead of spending money on new outfits, O'Leary just wears 20 black suits, which make 20 black ties and 20 white shirts. It's my uniform. You see me wearing this all the time. Why? Because I save a lot of money doing this, he says. Number 6. Invest for the long term. O'Leary advises you funnel whatever money you can turn into investments that will grow over time. This is advice I'll give you no matter what age you are, O'Leary says. When you make money, I don't care if it's a gift for your birthday present, or you have a job on the side, or you're scooping ice cream, or whatever it is. You have to take 10% of your paycheck every 2 weeks and invest it. People say, I can't afford that, I can barely afford my rent, he continues. But it's not true. You buy crap you don't need every day. Investors like Mark Cuban and Warren Buffett recommended investing in low-cost S&P 500 index funds, which is an affordable way to invest in the 500 largest companies in the stock market. But another way to get started investing if you don't have a lot of money is with exchange-traded funds, known as ETFs, which O'Leary recommends. An ETF is a basket of different assets, and you can find ETFs that include all sorts of asset classes, stocks, bonds, commodities, and real estate too. So they have the benefit of diversification, according to O'Leary. You should never have all your eggs in one basket. You should never own just one stock, he says. There are 11 sectors in the economy, things like energy, defense, technology, and there are thousands of stocks. Still, you'll need to do your homework on the assets that make up the ETF to be sure that they are sound investments, he says. O'Leary founded a company that offers ETFs called O'Shares ETF Investments, which specifically targets dividend-paying stocks. A dividend is money that a company pays its shareholders, typically every quarter. By investing in stocks that pay dividends, you can spend or reinvest the amount paid out by the company without having to touch your initial investment, leaving it to grow. It's a lesson he learned from his mother. My mom understood a very basic premise, he explains. Never spend the principal, only the interest. This is all for today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like, and if you are new, then do not forget to subscribe. While you are here, go ahead and click one of these 2 videos on your screen. See you there.